Hi, I'm Ben. Welcome to the channel. So briefly, there's something interesting in the news today talking about Mark Zuckerberg and saying that Meta is going to delete fact-checking, which this in itself is considered virtue signaling. Fact-checking and the agenda of Facebook's been clear over the last 10 to 15 years. I think what's motivating this is that he sees currently that the country is going a different way. And it was Facebook and online television programs where you're streaming that pushed agendas that are not necessarily American agendas. For example, Facebook deleted and banned a lot of people that were more conservative. In the meantime, the ads that you saw and the things that popped up constantly had a lot to do with AIDS and gays and a bunch of different things, a lot of support for vaccinations, and not much based on doctoral responses. So two of the articles I've seen recently were lawsuits that were filed, and Zuckerberg actually had to talk in front of Congress about silencing doctors, medical professionals that were trying to share information that was worth people hearing during the pandemic and in subsequent years, and muting those people so that the word could get out based on what was popular during the time instead of facts. And that's one of the things that I say, guys, the biggest risk with the internet is you have everybody out there giving you information, and where you get your information from should matter. So a PhD, a physician, someone who actually takes care of medical patients, I would much rather that person be telling me what we should do from a health aspect or a standard for health care than some person who's a keyboard warrior somewhere and doesn't know what's going on. So be curious to see what happens to Zuckerberg and to Facebook after this fact-checking shutdown is done. I'll tell you, the fact-checking that I have participated with and that I've gone back and looked at, a lot of it was untrue. Okay, so the facts that were being checked were false. What it was saying, what it was claiming was false. So I'm curious to see what is going to happen from all of this. And at the end of the day, this is not what I commonly respond about, but I do think it's worth a call out because I think a lot of the actions that Facebook and other programs took during that period of time are borderline illegal. We've already talked about his selling your information, which is how he made his billions. That's how he became a billionaire, selling your information to the government and to other governments and to corporate firms from Facebook. I do use the platform. I keep things on there like this, something that I would want being in public, but I limit it to that and don't allow much else, which I would suggest as well. So that should be interesting to see what Zuckerberg has coming with Facebook in the next few years and see what this does to scrap the fact-checking piece, which honestly is just censorship. It was censorship, and now he's talking about since he's removing those, so there's not censorship, when he said initially that there was no censorship and fact-checking did not censor people. And now it's been proven false several times. Just because the tide of opinion is something, that doesn't mean that it's a fact. And I think that's the biggest issue with Facebook and social media is people believe that if it's on the internet that it's a fact. And that's the best thing I think that's going to come out of this. But in the end, it's still censorship. And this cat did censor people in a period of time where people needed help and they didn't get it because of his censorship efforts and because of the efforts of censorship around the fact-checking nonsense. So, and you think about Gemini when it was released by Google, you couldn't even look up a historical person because it automatically made them a person of color, etc. Nonsense in factual suggested spaces does matter. Look at the president right now as he exits and try to screw up as much as he can before he gets out of the White House. Joe Biden is the biggest train wreck I've ever seen. And look at it. Look at what he's doing. I mean, he's done stuff that could cost 150,000 jobs. I mean, Trump's coming. He'll be in office in a week and a half or something like that. But it's just amazing how much fiction impacts the real world to this day. But I've probably ranted too long on this. Just want to say something about that this is and has been one of the biggest issues, I think, with this internet age is the fact that social medias and other platforms use public opinion rather than fact. And at the end of the day, fact is what matters. Fact is what helps people or hurts them, right? All this other landslide of nonsense is exactly that. It's a landslide of nonsense that makes people less productive. Hopefully this was interesting to you. If so, please like, please subscribe. I'm Ben. Be good.